Is this on? Yes. Great. So, so I'm Sally Kleinfeldt. I'm going to talk about Plone 5 upgrades in real life, and I don't have a timekeeper, so somebody wave your arms when it's... Oh, okay, great. Kim's here. Thank you, Kim. Okay, so like Eric said, Plone 4.3 is getting old, and it's time to upgrade to Plone 5. 2020 is coming. And Python 2.7 is end of life in January 1st of 2020. So for those of you with Plone sites or clients with Plone sites that are on 4.3 or earlier, it's really time this year, 2019, is the year to do something about it. 4 heavily customized, very large Plone sites. This is kind of a big deal. It's not a trivial project. So, yeah, if you've postponed this long, it's probably because you haven't wanted to bite that bullet, but it's time to bite that bullet. And there's good news, which is that although it's a big deal, you can divide and conquer. There's a way of dividing that work into smaller projects instead of doing everything in one big, humongous effort. So I just wanted to briefly talk about our experiences last year. We've done a couple of these this year. We're going to be doing the rest of them, whether our clients like it or not. And this is the approach that we've hit on taking, and it's worked pretty well, so I thought I'd share it. So you can conceptually divide the Plone 5 upgrade process into 3 separate projects, which can be done in any order. So this is handy for your clients. They can budget accordingly. You know, I'll devote this much money in this quarter to this work, and et cetera, et cetera. So it just makes it easier to plan for, easier to budget for, easier to think about. So in no particular order, one of these sub-projects is the actual upgrade to Plone 5. Your content types can remain in archetypes if you've got archetypes content types to do this, or they can have already been moved to dexterity. Whatever order you do it, it doesn't matter, but you don't have to include, this is a big hurdle that we had to get over, that it's not one big monolithic project. The upgrade itself is separate from the archetypes to dexterity upgrade. So for this upgrade process, obviously if you've got an old theme, you will have to deal with that and migrate to Diazo or something. If you've got a set of add-ons that are not compatible with Plone 5, well, you'll have to deal with that too. So depending on how old the site is and the complexity of the customizations that you've made and the number of add-ons that you're using, this could be a big deal or not too big a deal. The migration itself is smooth. It's all about what customizations you've done, as always. But that's one project. Another project is to migrate the core content types from archetypes to dexterity. And there are really good migration tools to do this. So this is a fairly well understood, reasonable thing to do. Obviously, if you've done customization of the core content types, like by adding lead images or something like this, okay, then you're going to have to do some custom work here. But happily, if you've just stuck with the regular Plone core content types, this is not such a big deal. And then finally, there are your custom content types that are still archetypes. And those need to be migrated or changed from archetypes to dexterity. And this is some amount of work, but happily, again, you can do this independently for each content type. There's no reason you have to do like the everything wall at once. And in fact, that's rather unwieldy. So I encourage you to think about doing each type one at a time, because there's no reason that you can't just have both types of types simultaneously on your site. So for each custom content type, you're going to have to create the corresponding dexterity type, the corresponding dexterity view, and a migration that goes from one to the other. This is a great time if your client or if your organization wants a few tweaks to the metadata, the attributes, whatever, on your types, or the way they look. This is a great time to make those changes, because you're going to have to get in there and write a new thing anyway, so good time to change those attributes or do whatever changes you want to make at that point. And then when all those three things are done, you can upgrade to Python 3. Yay! And, pop the cork on the champagne or whatever. So that's the basic gist, and that's, in a nutshell, all I wanted to say here, but I will have a little addendum about migrating large amounts of content. So if you have tens or hundreds of thousands of content items on your website, this process of migrating from archetypes to dexterity is very time-consuming. I mean, very time-consuming. So that might be a problem, but there is a concept of in-place migration, and this is something that Alessandro talked about last year at the Barcelona conference. I give the URL here. One of our clients, the Washington Trails Association, had, oh my gosh, hundreds of thousands of these things called trip reports that members of the site had contributed over, gosh, I don't know. I mean, this is a site that goes back to Groundwire days, so it's from probably mid 2000 aughts, like 2006, 2008. It's an old site with a lot of content, a lot of images that people have contributed over the years, just bucket loads. And there was so much content on this site that a straight up archetypes dexterity migration using the normal process of sort of replacing each archetypes item with a dexterity item and kind of moving along like that would have taken days. It would have been really unwieldy. So David Glick saw that talk, and David Glick said, what a good idea. So he invented his own kind of implementation style of doing that, and to do an in-place migration. Basically, he created a custom migrator type for each of the content types, which have a shared base class. The implementation of each content type's migrator consists of defining lists of attributes you want to keep, attributes you want to remove, attributes you want to move like to a different name or something like that, interfaces to remove, annotations to remove or keep, etc. This is the etc. David told me this, and that's about all I know. And in hopefully, like right towards the end of this talk, which is in 5 or 10 minutes, David said he'd come. So if anybody wants to bend David's ear and ask him questions about exactly how he did this, he will be here, or just catch him later. And then the base class also checks to see if there are, if you forgot to list one of the attributes or one of the annotations. So that's handy. And it also patches a catalog to avoid accidentally indexing things while you are in the process of migrating. So it's very handy dandy. We've done it already for some of the content. We were actually still in the process, this website that I mentioned. We're doing it, like I said, type by type by types, kind of slowly through the year. And we've done some, and we have more to do. And then we've applied that same model to another client that also has quite a lot of content on Barton Oaks. And we're doing it the same way with them. We would be happy to share like the base migrator class and a couple of examples maybe in a GitHub gist if people are really interested in this. It's not like the kind of thing it's like not like an add-on that we could publish, and obviously all the real work in for these clients is proprietary stuff, but the basic idea we're happy to make public if there is interest. And that's all. Anybody want to? Yeah, save your applause for the end. Anybody want to talk about their, experiences and tricks and tips for upgrading to Plone 5? The time has come, everyone. Questions? Cool. I told you this would be short. Okay. You can clap now.